Good morning, friend. I'm being quiet because it is 5:37 a.m. and I'm gonna get my oven preheated to 425. My coffee pot is going. I need to make my milk mixture to go into my coffee. I'm gonna get a few lights on, but I don't want to turn the big bright lights on quite yet because it is too early. We are gonna have a good garden day this morning. It is supposed to be in the mid-90s today, and I need to get my garlic harvested, and it is too hot to be out there midday doing garden projects. Plus, my sister-in-law texted me and asked if she wanted to meet at the pool today. So I thought, I am going to get up early. Oh, my frother's not plugged in. I'm gonna get breakfast made and going before I get ready for the day. I have not gotten ready for the day yet, so thank you for being here with me as I literally just rolled out of bed. So I've got some whole milk in my frother. I just put a couple drops of this monk fruit vanilla sweetener, and then I'm gonna put 2 scoops of collagen in there, and probably about a teaspoon of just plain cocoa powder, and that makes it kind of taste like maybe a whole teaspoon, a little bit of a mocha. It's delicious, and I need something delicious to get me going this morning. I'm gonna make a quiche for breakfast, and I need to saute some onions. I actually have an onion out in the garden I want to go grab. So let's go out to the garden and grab that real quick this morning. I'm thinking by the time I get back in here, my coffee will be ready. Oh yeah, it feels nice out here right now. So I'm hoping that I can be out here by 6:20 and we can be harvesting 2026's garlic harvest. It is beautiful. I used to be a morning person, but then I got pregnant and then I had a newborn, and this feels good to get up and kind of get going first thing in the morning because I haven't done a day like this in a very long time. The garden is looking beautiful, but it is already not cold out here, I would say. So this is what we're going to harvest, 2026's garlic harvest. First, I need to grab this onion. This onion volunteered itself, and it is pretty big. It did start going to flower, so there might be kind of some in the center I have to cut out, but I think it'll be plenty for this morning's quiche. If you're with me last week, toward the end of the week, I made some roast beef, and I have some of that meat left that I want to slice up, so we're going to make a cheddar steak, onion, tomato quiche. It's going to be delicious. So good. It's almost like a latte / mocha because it has that little bit of cocoa powder in it. I'm gonna get this onion washed. Onions are one of my favorite things to grow, and this thing smells so good. I need to make some sandwiches to take to the pool too today. I might do that while I'm in the kitchen this morning. I have a little bit of the brioche bread we made last week, and it's been making the most delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So onions are biannuals, which means they want to flower every 2 or on their second year. So this was an onion, I don't know if maybe I forgot to harvest last year or what, but I did not plant this onion, it planted itself. Or I didn't harvest it last year, and so that stem is just the stem of it wanting to go to flower. And I can just cut that out, and this is a perfectly good onion. If I had left this in the ground, that flower end would get bigger and bigger, so this was the perfect time to grab this out of the garden. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the whole thing up because we're gonna get this sauteing and it'll be delicious in our quiche. And I figured this is probably gonna take at least an hour to cook, if not an hour and 20 minutes. So that'll give me time to get ready, and I'll probably be out in the garden by the time it's done. That's one reason I kind of wanted to get up early, was to get breakfast going, because I don't have any. We have French toast in the freezer that we could have for breakfast. But I made a quiche last week and we went through it so quickly because it was so delicious. I thought I'm gonna make a steak quiche using that roast that I made last week, because that needs to be eaten. Okay, so onions are in here. I need to get a little oil in here, and I'm gonna get the roast beef cut up too while I have that cutting board out. I also have some broccoli I found in my fridge that needs to be used up, and I think that will be good in this quiche. So I'm gonna get that cooking with the onions here in just a minute, but I wanna get my steak diced up. One of my favorite quiches is after Christmas when we make a prime rib, and if there's any leftovers, usually there's just a little bit, if any, and if I can get like one slice of prime rib leftovers, I love to make a prime rib quiche. So my thought was, with this roast beef that I made, I think we're gonna be able to get the same kind of steak and egg profile that I would get with prime rib. Obviously, that was a round roast, not a prime rib, but I think it'll still be pretty delicious, especially with the broccoli and the cheese we're gonna add. I have some provolone cheese and some Parmesan cheese. We'll get lots of delicious flavor. I'm gonna make a quick crust here. Now, one thing I did do last night when Josh and I were cleaning the kitchen after dinner last night, I went ahead and I milled up some soft white wheat. Normally when I make pie crust, I make it with just all-purpose flour, because I've tried making pie crust with fresh milled flour and it's turned out okay. But I was reading, and it's best if you chill your flour after milling it to make pie crust, because when it comes out of the grain mill, it's really hot. And when you're making pastry, you obviously want the pastry to be cold. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and mill the flour up last night. I was already kind of cleaning the kitchen, and so it was already kind of a mess. So I was like, I'll just do that and I'll put it in the fridge. And since I knew I was getting up so early this morning, I wouldn't have to turn on the grain mill, and it's really loud, and it would kind of kill two birds with one stone. I would get it milled and chilled, and I wouldn't have to turn on the loud grain mill in the morning, because I want to try making pastry with fresh milled flour and see if I can get it to turn out. I did not measure the flour. I just ground, I think it was 2 cups of berries. I don't know. I just added 1 cup of flour. I'm just gonna kind of do this eyeball school here. Throw this away. And then I'm gonna cut this in. I'm probably gonna get in there with my, yeah, this butter's pretty cold and the flour's cold. So I'm gonna get in here with my hands, and I'm going to break up this flour and see if we can get a good pie crust. I still need to get some ice water out, but I could have done this in the food processor, but I did not really feel like doing that. So we'll just do it by hand. When I make pie crust by hand, what I like to do is actually kind of like smash the butter so that it's like, instead of it being in round ball shape, it's more like flattened. I think you actually can get better pie crust when you do it by hand than when you do it in the food processor, but I usually don't take the time to do this by hand because it does take longer. But I do like the shape of the butter I can get with my hand, because you obviously can't get this textured butter in a food processor. This will take me a minute. Now that I've made a nice mess on my counter with flour, I'm happy with the texture of this. You can see the flour bits are kind of flattened as opposed to like ball shape. And now we can add our water to it. This is where it's gonna probably be a little different than white flour, because my thought is this is gonna take a little more moisture because it's fresh milled flour, but we'll see. I think this is done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off so it could cool just a little bit. I'm just making some ice water. You know, I did not measure this flour, so I'm not gonna really worry about measuring the water. I'm just gonna go by consistency, but I do wanna use some cold water because I did get in here with my hands, so this butter has warmed up just a bit. And I just added a little bit of sugar. That helps with the browning process. And so I'm just gonna add, that's probably like a third a cup of water to start. And then I'll start adding tablespoons at a time until I get the right consistency. I'm hoping to get enough for 2 pie crust because I did dice up some of the beef and put in the freezer. And so if we like this, I can make 1 more quiche. My chickens are laying now at this point very well. So quiche is kind of back on the menu. That feels nice and hydrated, so I'm gonna put my water over here. When it's nice and hydrated, I'm gonna take it out of the bowl because I don't wanna put too much water. It obviously has a little different consistency than when I use all-purpose flour, but I think it's turning out okay so far. Okay, I can tell this flour needs to hydrate because it has enough water in it, I think, but the actual like bran and germ that's in this flour needs time to hydrate. So I am going to shape this into 2 balls. One of them I'm just gonna actually throw in the freezer because that's definitely enough for 2 pie crust. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do, I have an idea. We're just making this up this morning. You see those big butter chunks in there? That's what I'm looking for when I make pie crust or pastry. This one I'm gonna wrap in parchment. And then I'm gonna put that in a freezer bag. Okay, this is ready for the freezer. I find if I do this where I wrap it in parchment or saran wrap and then I use that tension and I roll it out, then I have less cracking in my pie crust. I'm gonna pop this in the fridge, this in the freezer, or maybe not. I don't really feel like rolling this out when it's super cold, so I actually think I'm just gonna go ahead and get it rolled out now, and then we'll see what I end up doing. But you can see how after pressing it into that parchment paper, there's not cracking as much as there was earlier. Let's just go ahead and roll this pie crust out. I have a deep dish pie crust. I need this to be rolled out quite a bit. This is probably a little bit stickier than I would do with all-purpose flour, but that's because I want this pastry or the germ and bran in the flour to hydrate well. But you can see we still have some big chunks of butter in there. It's not going to be the prettiest crust, but I think it's going to be delicious. That's all that matters. So I'm going to pop this in the fridge now. So we're going to let the bran and germ hydrate as it's already in the crust form. I think that will work just great. I'm going to make the egg filling mixture. I've got some eggs for my chickens. I've got to clean up just a little bit because this is going to drive me crazy. I'll just make the egg mixture in here because this just had flour, sugar, salt, water, and butter. Might as well not dirty up another dish this morning. I'm not trying to make more work for myself. These are tiny eggs. These are from my Polish hens, the ones that have the fluffy feathers on top. And they're still relatively young, so they're giving me pretty small eggs at this point. But I normally would add like 10 eggs to my quiche. I like my quiche to be pretty heavily egged. Some quiche recipes call for like 4 eggs or 6 eggs, and I usually put way more than that. But because we have this steak in there today, I don't think I'm going to add quite as many eggs as I normally would. But again, these are really small eggs. This is from my Easter egger, so it's a little bit larger of an egg. The Polish are pretty small hens, so they just don't lay very big eggs. I think even when they get fully mature, their eggs are just going to be smaller than a more traditional laying hen. 2, 4, 6. I'm just trying to visualize what will fit in my pie pan because I never follow a recipe, so I'm never 100% sure how much to add. And some milk. Salt. Pepper. I don't feel like grating any cheese this morning, so I've got some Parmesan cheese that's pre-grated. And then I have some sliced provolone cheese that needs to be used up. This is pretty thinly sliced. And I'm just going to tear this into smaller pieces. I have 3 pieces here. Josh's and I's, one of our favorite cheeses, is provolone. I did not grow up eating provolone. I didn't start eating provolone until I met Josh. And we love it. But I like cheddar cheese too. I grew up eating cheddar cheese. Tillamook cheddar cheese. Okay, so we're gonna get this mixed together. And then I can add more egg or more milk if I feel like we need to once we get this stirred together. Perfect. I have some brioche bread. I was going to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before I got ready for the day, but I think I'm going to wait on that because I want to beat that heat out there. So I'm going to go just get cleaned up just a little bit right before I put this in the oven. I want this cooking because I want it basically to be ready whenever my family's ready to eat breakfast. And quiche, for me, tends to boil over. The butter usually melts just a bit. And so I'm gonna put a piece of parchment paper down here so that if it does boil over, it's gonna boil over onto that and not be such a mess. This probably could chill for a little bit longer. It's definitely firmed up a bit, but we're just gonna go with it. And that looks like perfect. I eyeballed that great. Get all this cheese in there. By the time it melts, it's gonna be totally fine that this was some sliced cheese, not shredded. But I think this combination of the broccoli, the steak, the onion, the Parmesan, the provolone is gonna be great. So we're gonna get this in the oven. This is a very deep dish quiche, so I'm gonna put a piece of foil on the top because I just know from experience it's gonna take probably an hour and 15 minutes to cook. And if I don't cover it, the top will be done before the inside's done. And I love quiche. I love quiche because you can kind of put in whatever you have on hand and it usually turns out delicious. We usually go through phases where we eat quiche a ton because we'll eat quiche for breakfast, we'll eat quiche for lunch, and we'll eat quiche for dinner. It's just nice to have in the fridge. I eat it cold sometimes, I eat it warm sometimes, it just depends. I mean, obviously I'll eat it warm coming out of the oven because it'll be delicious, but it's one of those nice things that you can just kind of throw in whatever you have. And we usually will eat quiche for a huge stretch of time and then I won't make it and then we'll go through a quiche making phase again. And right now we're in a quiche phase. So I'm just gonna tidy up just a little bit. I've got some dishes here. The dishwasher's clean, so unfortunately I can't put anything in the dishwasher, but I can at least get stuff kind of tidied and in the sink. And I'm going to grab my coffee. I'm going to go get cleaned up just a little bit so we can head out into the garden and harvest this year's garden. Cheers. All right, I am a little bit more awake now, and I think we still have, oh yeah, that's not even close to being done. So I'm gonna set a timer for 45 minutes. I know that if I do not set a timer on my phone, I will 100% forget that I have that in the oven because I just know that that's who I am. I will be distracted harvesting the garlic and I will come back in and it will be burnt to a crisp. Okay, 45 minutes. We're gonna set that timer. I'm gonna put some socks on here. I just made up some more frothed milk so that I can have my second cup of coffee. While I was getting ready, I drank my first one. I almost always have 2 cups of coffee. Do I always finish my second one? No, especially if I'm gonna be out in the garden. Usually I'm distracted doing garden things and I forget to drink it. But I want a second one, so I'm gonna get it made up here. I just made it exactly the same way. Except this time, I put a little bit more foam on the top. Delicious. Okay. So I've grabbed some gloves here. I also would like to harvest another bouquet because the one that we harvested over a week ago is now done and all my scissors I think are in the dishwasher. Yeah, I got a pair of scissors. I don't think I'm gonna need sunglasses yet this morning, but I'm gonna get some water in my water bottle, make some ice water. My sister-in-law, who we're gonna go to the pool with today, was the one who actually gave me this as a gift when I was pregnant with my son. So I've had this water bottle for over 4 years now. And it's the only one I have and it still works great. It does spill if you tip it over, but I don't usually tip it over. But this is nice to bring this out into the garden because the problem is when I bring a glass out into the garden, I always end up getting a bunch of dirt in it. So I'm hoping that this will keep my water a little bit dirt-free. That's the goal. Okay, I think that's it. Coffee, gloves, scissors. I need to go get the wheelbarrow, which is around by the chicken coop, and we're good to go. Oh, I do need, let me see if I can find a basket because I harvested some potatoes the other day. They were some volunteer potatoes and I forgot to grab them, so they're still out there, which is fine, they'll be fine. I'm gonna cook them up tomorrow, I think, or the next day. I'm going to probably not get to planting out this bed today. We'll get it harvested, we'll get the garlic curing, and then I'll probably plant it out maybe tonight. We'll see. We have to see how warm it gets out there, how quickly. Just gonna see if any of my green beans, oh, yay, okay. This is the third time I've planted green beans in this green stalk. And I think the first 2 times I planted it, the bean seeds were bad because I kept planting from the same seed pack and they were just rotting. Let's see if I can put this down without spilling. It is like perfect out here right now. I'm hoping I'm becoming a morning person again. But look, there are 2 sprouts there. That's very encouraging. Looks like those are the only 2 I'm seeing. But this green stalk, these petunias look absolutely beautiful. So I'm really hoping that where I plant, oh yeah, there's one more right there I see sprouting. There's one more right there. Okay, yep, I think I just had some bad seed. Yep, there's one there and one there. So I'm hoping this fills out really nicely because the parsley and the petunias are looking fantastic. So with green beans, it's just gonna look absolutely beautiful. And I just have to show you this variety of strawberry. I mean, look at this. We've got 2, we've got 5 right here. Look at all these. I'm gonna come out here with my son when we have breakfast and we're gonna have a side of strawberries. Look at all of them. We are getting probably 20 strawberries a day. And this variety is called Seascape. I'm gonna propagate all these strawberry babies. I've got the strawberry attachments that go here and I can propagate these. And this is the variety I want to actually transplant into a bunch of my other ones because these strawberry plants are just putting on huge strawberries and it is so prolific. We're getting to the point where we can't quite eat all of the strawberries. So that's good. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime in the future, if I propagate a variety that does really well for us, that I could actually make jam out of strawberries that we grow. If I have to buy them, that's okay too. But right now we're just enjoying picking them every day and eating them fresh. And I'm really happy with that Seascape variety. It is currently 62 out right now. So I think it was, just seeing if I can do this without making a huge mess of my coffee, but I think it was a good move waking up early to get this done because I have an hour and a half and it will only be 75. So we should be able to get this done in a relatively comfortable temperature. I still need to grab my wheelbarrow, but I'm gonna bring you down here first and look at these. I need to grab some more flowers for my kitchen. That one's a little spent, but I think that one over there I'll pick. But first, we're gonna come over here and get this garlic harvested. So this garlic is starting to show signs of disease. This garlic gets the same disease that my snapdragons do. It's a fungal disease. It's called rust. I never struggled with this disease in my last garden, ever. And this garden, it's pretty prevalent. It showed up really early on my snapdragons, and the only 3 crops that it shows up on are my snapdragons and my garlic. So things in the allium family. I'm sure if I grew leeks, it would show up on there too, but it doesn't seem to affect the actual fruit. The garlic is not technically a fruit, I don't think, but the actual crop, what you're gonna eat, it doesn't seem to affect. The sun is starting to come up over those trees, so it's gonna get warm here pretty quick. But we're gonna get this done relatively quickly. This right here is the start of the disease. I don't see it too bad yet. On this one, it was showing up. It showed up on one of these leaves, but it's starting to die back. Typically, I wouldn't harvest my garlic until, well, you know what? This is actually, you want 3 leaves to die back. And we've got 1 that just broke off, 2, 3, which that's a pretty good time to harvest. That garlic head looks like a nice size. This is a hardneck variety, so it doesn't have that many cloves, but the cloves are huge. So I'm happy with that. So I've got a whole bed of garlic here. And then I've got some volunteer garlic, like right there, there's a volunteer garlic. This bed, there's some volunteer garlic. And so we're just gonna get this all cleaned up, harvested. So we're just gonna get this all cleaned up today, harvested and curing, so we can enjoy it all winter long. My dad and I and my mom figured out a really nice way to actually peel all the garlic. So I'm gonna do that. Oh, there's a weed here I'm gonna grab on my way to get my wheelbarrow. But we found a really easy way to peel the garlic. So we're gonna cure this garlic, and instead of waiting until winter, I plan to probably harvest that garlic relatively quickly. Good morning, girls. This coop is absolutely amazing. It's so easy to clean. It's so incredibly functional. We got the old coop area cleaned up, and we're just so enjoying our chickens. Good morning, girls. Good morning. These two running, those are my original chickens from my original flock. I'm not gonna bring these eggs in now. I will this afternoon when I collect the rest of the chicken eggs. Good morning, girls. But I wanna protect them because I do have an egg-eating chicken. So I'm just gonna put them there for now. And when I collect the rest of the eggs today, I will bring those inside. She's my egg-eating chicken. We caught her. I've always had an egg-eating chicken, but Josh put a trail cam in this coop. Here's some treats. Treats, girls, treats. I'm trying to train them to come to me. The new flock is not as, they're a little more skittish. So I'm trying to train them that I'm a friend who gives them treats. But we've always had an egg-eating chicken, and we've never known who it was. But we have a trail cam in here so we can see what's going on in here. It's super fun. Just to make sure, we always like to make sure the door, because we have an automatic door on it, that it opens and closes properly. And so that's why we have a trail cam in here, so we can check that every morning. And so we caught the egg-eating chicken. There may have been more than one egg-eating chicken, I don't know. So something Josh did last year, I'm pretty sure he did it after I harvested the garlic, because I don't think I was able to take advantage of it, is the irrigation system in each bed I can turn on and off. So about a week ago, I was thinking, you know what, I'm gonna be harvesting this garlic soon. We are gonna have 3 days of dry, and then it's supposed to rain for like 3 days. So that's why I really wanted to get out here and get this done today, because I'm not gonna be able to get it done later. So about a week ago, give or take, I turned the irrigation off to this bed, so we've had no rain. So I'm hoping that the soil is nice and dry, which I've never been able to do that in the past. So when I've pulled my garlic in the past, there's always a bunch of dirt on it. And this is nice and dry. I pulled this yesterday and just let it dry on the ground. But you can see there's not a lot of dirt on it, which is what we want. I better put my cup up here so it doesn't spill. That is the one thing about that cup, is it does spill if you tip it over. Let's see if I can pull this or if I need to get a shovel to get up underneath it. Nope, that looks, oh yeah, this is a good time. They're actually wanting to split. I thought I was harvesting this a little early. I'm only harvesting this because I'm seeing the signs of disease, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, but this paper right here has split. So if I waited any longer, all these cloves would open up because it wants to replant itself. And I probably could have turned the water off a week ago. Look how big these are. This is why I love growing hardneck varieties, because the cloves are so big. So if you're gonna peel all your garlic, a hardneck variety is really nice. But the thing about hardneck garlic is they don't store very long compared to softneck garlic. Softneck garlic is what you're gonna find in your local grocery store, because they have a shelf life of about, see, this is why I have to move my coffee and my water, because I'm gonna get dirt in it. But hardneck varieties have a shelf life of about 4 months. Softneck garlic has a shelf life of up to 12 if stored properly. So you're not gonna find hardneck varieties in your grocery store because they just don't store as long. But they have huge cloves. So if you're gonna peel garlic, it's the way to go. Yeah, I probably could have done this earlier. I thought I was getting out here early, but I think we're getting out here perfect timing. Not like earlier in the day. I'm happy with how early I got it this morning, but I meant earlier in the year. Those look great. And walking over here, unfortunately, I'm already starting to see signs of disease on my onions, which is awful, because onions are one of my favorite things to grow. Those little spots are disease. So I'm hoping that the onion bulbs will bulb up before, see, you can see that discoloration. Before long, that will be brown, and it will be the rust. I can show you what it looks like once it turns into rust over here. This is a bed I planted out last weekend, but This is my snapdragons, and you can see it kind of turns brown and gets these like brown spots on it. But it starts out that discoloration. So my snapdragons still look beautiful if you look at them from afar, but don't look too close because there's definitely disease on them. Those are going to be coming out probably in the next week, and I'll just replant with something else. So grateful to have had that harvest because I did not plant those. Those all volunteered themselves, which just means they planted themselves. There was seed in the soil, and if I had taken the time to start those 2 weeks postpartum and then them get the disease, I would have been completely devastated. But I'm just grateful that I got them at all. I didn't put any work in other than just watch them grow. And so I feel like the garden gave me the gift of snapdragons this year. Oh yeah, this soil here feels a lot drier. These are coming up nicely. Super happy with the size of these cloves. And I don't think I'm gonna replant this garlic as seed. I used to be able to save my seed and plant it, but because now I struggle with this disease, I don't know if that's a good idea. And if I should just order in seed garlic to know that it's disease-free. These are ranunculus corums. I might bring these inside and dry them out too, because I just pulled them up by mistake. The rest of them I'm gonna leave in here and I'll plant them in January. The rest of them I just kind of want to overwinter because they overwinter just fine. These are what they look like. They kind of look like little octopus. I had them growing all along this edge and they overwintered and they were beautiful. Yeah, if I had turned the water off maybe 4 or 5 days before I did, they would be coming out even drier, but this is definitely the most dry I've ever harvested garlic because this is the first time I've ever been able to turn the irrigation off. Normally, I can't turn the irrigation off to just one bed, so I just let them continue to get watered, which is not great because you want them dry so they don't mold on you. See how it's starting to split? I'm glad I'm harvesting it now. So happy with the size of that. This variety of garlic, this is my labeling system. Oh gosh. Well, that's my labeling system. The label has completely, let's see. Oh, here we go, majestic. Majestic, happy with that. The roots came off that one. I can already tell though, these are gonna be smaller heads because there's, yeah, look at that. So I don't really care, I guess, to know what this is because I probably won't plant this again. I harvested another ranunculus corum, but I can wrap my fingers all the way around that. The size of the stalk is always proportional to the size of the head. And you can see this one is, I mean, super teeny tiny. So whatever this variety is, this one looks like it's a decent size, but I can tell those cloves are a lot smaller. And I like large cloves because I don't really like peeling garlic. So the larger the clove, the easier it is to peel and the happier I am with it. So this, whatever this variety is, I'll put on the screen somewhere. For me, will be a one and done. It could just be how I grew it too. I did not fertilize this at all. I don't think. Maybe I did when I planted. I don't remember. That was in October, I think. maybe November when I planted these. I mean, yeah, that's like one clove. Teeny tiny. I'm breaking them off. I need to go get a shovel. I need to check my phone because I feel like it's been 45 minutes and I'm worried about that quiche. We have 7 minutes left on the timer. Well, I know I'll be growing a few heads of this variety of garlic next year because a couple of them that I broke the tops off, I don't remember where they are, so they're in the bed, so they will pop up next. See, like that one broke. Next spring. Yeah, I think I could have turned the water off a little bit sooner because I think that's what's happening is all the soil is stuck in these roots and not wanting to let go. So this is what an onion flower looks like, or a garlic flower. If you leave escape to go to flower, looks like this one has purple flowers. All right, so this unknown variety is one I will be not planting next year. But I'm still happy with it. Still garlic will put up for sure. These are the labels that I have here. Stick those with that. Still a pretty decent harvest. This next variety is elephant garlic, which is actually in the leek family. And it goes to here. And then I've got some weeds in here. This is a pretty weedy bed. Let's get that out of here. I don't know if I'll be able to pull these up without using the shovel. Oh yeah. So elephant garlic is not actually in the garlic family. It's in the leek family. And it produces these little tiny offshoots. You can see this one's starting to split here. So I'm glad I'm harvesting what I am. These little offshoots will produce garlic next year, and maybe that's what's in that bed. I'm just gonna throw these in here and we'll let these just plant themselves and we'll see what happens. Because maybe I'm thinking that's what the random volunteer garlic that I have around here is from. Me doing that. And this one's really splitting. You can see this is how garlic reproduces itself. Is it splits like this and then it replants itself. I like growing elephant garlic because you get so much. Tastes like garlic. They're easy to peel. The jarlic that you buy is actually elephant garlic. It's not traditional garlic. I'm not trying to pull these ranunculus corums up, but they just keep seeming to come up as I'm pulling. Okay, so we're into a new variety of garlic here. Let's see what we've got, if I can tell you what it is or not. This, I think, is the last variety. Okay. Yes, and I can tell you what it is. Chestnut, I think, CHES something okay red. I'm not sure. You might be able to hear my neighbor. I think he's chainsawing. I already can tell I don't think these are going to be as big as the chestnut or majestic. Maybe I should just grow elephant garlic. I don't know. I grew over 7 pounds of garlic last year. There's a head. That's elephant garlic. You know it's elephant garlic because it has those little extra pieces on it. Yep. These are not as big as the majestic. Okay, I'm just going to get these harvested real quick. It's starting to get warm out here. My timer has not gone off yet, so I'm going to see if I can do this before my timer goes off. I've got snapdragons that volunteered themselves in here. This is a lettuce plant that's going to seed. That planted itself. Here's a dahlia. Maybe I'll put that somewhere over here. I'll just stick it here for now. Not that I need any more dahlias. I have so many dahlias. This is a nice size one. Still not as big though as the first variety. So there's volunteer snapdragons in here because I had snapdragons in here before. These are from M.I. Gardner and they're orange. These ones don't seem to be susceptible to that disease like the ones I got from Johnny's seed. The ones I got from these are an heirloom variety of snapdragon, so I'm going to try to save some of them in here. Versus the ones I got from Johnny's seeds, they are a hybrid. They're the Costa and Potomac variety. And they're supposed to be better for cut flower gardeners, but for me, they're super susceptible to disease, which doesn't really seem like a good trait to have for a cut flower farm. Pull this. And I want these snapdragons to be watered. So I'm going to turn this water system back on. I think this is the last, oh, I got one more here. I'm going to cut these back though. They'll grow back stronger. Oh, my timer's going off. I think it's been going off for a while. We better go check on that quiche. I'm walking to go check on the quiche, and I've been told these roly-polies are only supposed to eat dead vegetation, but they are eating my zinnias, and they eat a ton of my beans right here. And they killed quite a few of my pumpkins. These ones are doing well. So the pests that I struggle with in my garden are those roly-polies, and I've been struggling with flea beetles on my tomatoes. We do not have squash vine borers here. We do not have tomato hornworms. We do have, what are they called? What are they called? They like cabbages. We have cabbage moths. We have slugs, but this garden I don't struggle with slugs as much as those little roly-polies. And we have, what are they called? They're like little yucky, tiny bugs that like to go on the underside of my kale. What are those called? I don't know, but it smells incredible in here. The Parmesan and provolone, I think, was a good call. Let's see. I think that might be done. I don't want to touch it with my hand. Oh yeah, that's firm. That smells so good. I think my family's still sleeping because I don't see any signs that they have been in here. The coffee pot is still at the same level. That looks so good. It's heavy. Well, they might be awake now if they weren't awake, because that was loud. Get this turned off and grab my gloves. Perfect timing. We're gonna head back out there, finish the garlic. And you know what? I need to go out this way. I planted some sunflowers. I want to plant more sunflowers in that area that we just harvested. So I might grab some of these seeds. Sorry, it's kind of loud in here. I started an entire freeze dryer load of bananas for my nieces and nephews. My son and I cut all those bananas yesterday, and we're gonna keep some, of course. But my sister texted me a while ago and asked me to freeze dry bananas for her kiddos because they love them. And I guess you can buy them at Costco. I didn't know that. And so I said, sure. So I bought like 8 bunches of bananas or so, and I had to wait for them to get ripe. And they got perfectly ripe, and I had to do them yesterday or they would have been too ripe. And I think I also want to plant some more sugar snap peas because mine have done terrible. So I have to see if I have any more seed in here. I don't have enough time to grow any more drying beans, but little snow peas, purple. These are really old seed. Dwarf gray sugar. Let's see. 57 to 60 days. Let's plant these. And I know I have some shorter sunflower seeds in here. Plant spacing 60 to 72 inches. That's super tall. I planted these over the weekend. These don't get crazy tall. I don't think. Maybe they do. Oh, 5 to 8 feet. Yeah, they get tall. With the freeze dryer going and the heat already going, it is getting warm in here. So I got some seeds. I think I might, if I have time, I think I'll have time to plant out some seeds. We're going to dry the garlic in here. So I needed to get that door open. Over the weekend, I planted out more green beans over here, which is where we're going to harvest some garlic next. And I want to do some succession planting, and then in probably a week or so, I'm going to have to pull all these snapdragons, so I'll have even more space to plant food. But, oh, those are my potatoes I got to grab. In here, I planted, oh my goodness, a bunny ate my kale. I had a volunteer kale plant here, but it'll probably come back. It was about this big, and now it's that big. But from here to here, to the kale plant, actually, I planted green beans. Then I planted carrots. Along the whole back side, I planted sunflowers because those are going to get tall. This was the lettuce that was in here. I went ahead and put the lettuce here, and I put some around my cosmos plants to kind of compost in place. I just didn't want a bunch of weeds to happen here, so I will, in probably a week or two, I'll put more green beans here and then probably more carrots. But this is a garlic plant that we need to get. This was a garlic bed last year, but I've got to finish out this bed. I want to get this all tidied up and maybe get these planted. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Let's get this cleaned up and then I'll see what I'm going to do. It smells good. Well, it smells like garlic. So if you like the smell of garlic, you would like the smell of this. If you don't like the smell of garlic, you would not like the smell of this. And I keep finding grass weeds in here, and grass is my least favorite weed. So I'm going to just anytime I find the grass seed, throw it into the field. I just need to remember majestic, majestic, majestic. That's what I'm gonna grow next year. Maybe just majestic and just elephant garlic. I didn't grow any softneck garlic varieties, I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't think so though. You can't braid hardneck garlic because they're hard. And so they don't braid well. So if you want to braid garlic and have a beautiful garlic braid, you have to grow softneck varieties. So typically hardneck varieties will have like 4 to 6 cloves of garlic on each one, but each clove is huge, versus a softneck variety is going to have maybe 10 to 15 heads of cloves of garlic, and they're going to be a lot smaller. So there's just pros and cons to each, and just deciding what works for you. If you want long-term fresh garlic storage, then you want to grow some softneck varieties. If you're going to be like me and you're going to process all of it and freeze it at one time, and you want it easy to peel, then maybe hardneck's the variety for you. And then different regions of the country grow different varieties better. I know northern climates like one variety over the other. I don't remember which one is which. Okay. I do want to get all of this infected garlic out of here because there is disease on it. I don't really want it composting in my bed. Just set it there for now. We'll toss that in the woods. I don't know what I'm going to plant up front here yet, but I think I am going to go ahead and plant some more sugar snap peas along this back side. I'm thinking, let's see. I've just been trying to contemplate what I'm going to do with this bed. I don't think I'm going to plant any sunflowers in it yet, but I do think I'm going to go ahead and plant these snow peas. Okay, late summer. I'm just going to dig a trench. Because it says you can plant in very early spring or summer for a fall crop. So we're going to try planting peas again for the 4th time. Okay, I'm going to try to put this irrigation tape right over top where I'm planting. And I used to be a morning person, like I said, and I haven't been since I got pregnant and have a newborn. But let me tell you, it is not even 8 o'clock, I don't think, or it's just 8 o'clock. And I feel like I've been so incredibly productive that maybe this is the motivation I need to be a morning person again. It feels fantastic to be out here before my family's up, I do have to say. Need to put some staples in there to get it locked in place. But officially, we've got some more crops planted. And I have this turned back on. So I'm really bad about leaving seed packets around, and then I water my seed pack. So I'm gonna get those put away so that I can water those beans in and I don't ruin those seeds. I'm pretty sure what happened to the green beans that I planted in the green stalks twice, they had gotten wet at some point and they were no longer viable. So I don't want to do that with my sunflowers. Now here I have a couple volunteer potatoes. Actually, not a couple. This entire bed is volunteer potatoes and volunteer garlic. This was a garlic bed at one point, and so I'm pretty sure these garlics are from those little nubs that I have left behind. I can see this is a volunteer snapdragon. I'm going to transplant this. These are some weeds I'm going to get. I'm going to put this in that bed because this doesn't show any signs of disease, so maybe I can get some more snapdragons for a little bit longer. Now these potatoes I don't really want to harvest yet, but if some pop up when I get this garlic, that's fine, because that probably will happen. Okay. Yep, I'm pretty sure these are from those little nubbins that I've left behind. This one I did not turn off the irrigation because there's potatoes in here, so these are going to be a lot muddier. Oh, and here's some potatoes. Oh, these are beautiful. It's a purple fingerling. Oh, these are gorgeous. Beautiful. Okay. You can see how much more moisture these plants have. This is how all my garlic used to come out of the ground before Josh made it so that I could turn the irrigation off. This is huge. My head, this garlic, huge. So I was gonna harvest a bouquet of flowers right now, but I am covered in the fungus, I think, from these plants. I don't know, I just don't wanna spread a bunch of stuff to other things, so I'm not gonna cut anything. I've just been working with the garlic. I don't wanna go to other beds that have onions and start touching things. So we're gonna go get this dried up. Let's grab these potatoes. I'm definitely gonna be making something with potatoes for dinner tomorrow or tonight. I don't know. Am I gonna cook tonight? I don't know. Oh, you know what? I am cooking tonight. I pulled out a meatloaf from the freezer. So we will have, and I remembered I pulled that out specifically because I knew I had these potatoes that I had harvested. And I really don't want these sitting out in the sun because they'll turn green. These were some volunteer potatoes. This was a potato bed at one point. And when I was digging up this lettuce, which I gave a bunch of it to the chickens and we ate a bunch of it, I pulled up these potatoes. So we'll have some red fingerlings and Yukon Gold potatoes for dinner tonight. Got it. Whew. I've been doing a weight training, resistance training class 2 to 3 times a week. And I can tell that I am much stronger and have more endurance. I might be a little out of breath, but that was a lot of work. But I can definitely tell I'm stronger than I was before, which is nice. Obviously last summer, I was also pregnant, so that's part of it. But I can tell that I'm stronger, which is great. So what we're gonna do is cure this garlic. That confused me when I first started gardening. What does curing garlic or potatoes even mean? There's all my scissors. I have a stack of scissors right there. I was looking for those this morning. I am the problem of why I never have scissors in my kitchen. Growing up, it would drive my mom crazy that she could never find her scissors. And it drives me crazy that I can never find my scissors, but I am the problem. I am the reason I can never find my scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this wheelbarrow over here and we're gonna dry this in here. I've got a box fan in here and it's warm in here because I have the freeze dryer going. I have some more projects I really need to get to in the garden. I really need to prune my tomatoes. I don't prune my tomatoes like a lot of people prune their tomatoes. I just cut off the extra leaves. We're very dry. Like, I'm kind of surprised that we're getting rain, 3 days of rain in this time of year. We usually don't. And so we don't have a humidity issue in the summer. So my tomatoes, I'm not as worried about them getting blight. I would rather have more fruit. So I don't prune them back, all the suckers to one stem. I just prune back the extra growth. I feel like I get more tomatoes that way. But I need to do that, but I don't want to do that when I'm covered in all of what potentially could be this fungus. I've never had an issue with it traveling to my tomatoes, but I'd rather just kind of reduce the risk of cross-contamination. So I'll either do that tomorrow or later today or something after I have showered. I don't even know what time it is. It's still pretty early. I'm meeting my sister-in-law at the pool at 11. I still need to go inside and pack a lunch, but I think I have plenty of time for that. And then I'll shower after the pool. I don't really care if I mix these up because I'm not gonna store any of this for seed garlic. I'll just get more seed garlic come fall, which is kind of a bummer. I used to be able to save all my own seed garlic, but now with this disease, I just don't really feel comfortable doing that. I'm just trying to do one layer thick so that they can dry out and then we can process it. I'm curious to know if we did better this year on how much garlic we grew than we did last year. I feel like last year was great. I didn't weigh the garlic until after I peeled all of it. So we got 7.5 or something pounds of peeled garlic. And this majestic variety is definitely going in my garden next year. I also need to get some more things planted, and I need to start propagating my strawberries. But again, I want to shower and do that after I'm cleaned up a little bit. I've got 2 fans in here I'm going to turn on, but I'll finish talking to you first because that's just going to make it louder in here. If I haven't showed you yet, these are the berry cups. I haven't used them yet, so I'm excited to see how they work. They're these little strawberries. How cute are these? I haven't even opened this box yet. I've seen pictures of them. And these go on the side of the green stalks like this. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. You fill it with soil and then you take your plant and you root it out just like that. That is so cute. So I'm gonna do that probably this afternoon. I have 12 of them. So that'll be 12 free strawberry plants I'll be able to propagate. And I'm really excited about finding that variety of really large strawberries. So what a successful morning. I'm gonna tell you what time it is just because I'm curious because I don't even know. We got potatoes we're gonna have for dinner tonight. We got garlic, a year's worth of garlic, I'm sure. My phone is in here under all these potatoes. It is 8:48. So I think we started at 5:30 or something. So I'd say that's pretty successful. This is definitely motivating me to want to try to become a morning person again because I feel like I already had a successful full day and the day has not even hardly started. So I'm going to probably go in and sit down and have breakfast with my family because I haven't eaten yet and I'm excited to eat that. And I don't know if they have, but I'm really happy with this harvest. I mean, how beautiful is that? So let's get the fans on. I just want some more airflow. It's pretty dry. That's not plugged in. I've got to figure out how to plug that in. So thank you for being here for the most epic harvest of the year so far. I'm really excited about it. I love growing garlic because I literally cook with garlic every single day. Yes. I mean, there's garlic in every meal we have, whether I actually cook with it every day or like tonight for dinner, we're going to have a meatloaf. But the garlic that's in it is from garlic I grew last year, and that's exciting. So thank you for being here. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the harvest. If you want to watch some more videos, let me pop them here. You can go enjoy between now and the next upload. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.